pumped, you guys. Like, I just told her I was fangirling out. We have Katie Dunlop, Love, Sweat, Fitness on. Such a fan. So thank you for coming on TGL today.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you. You're so sweet.
Yeah.
We both took your Pop Sugar Fitness. Whitney was like, you have to take it. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. It kicked my butt.
Rose.
Oh, are you there?
Hello.
Did we
Yeah,
freeze
I
a
just
little?
lost you for a minute. Yeah.
We good
She's
now?
back.
I feel like we're
back.
good now. Yeah. Okay.
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 I was just
Sorry.
saying, we took your Pop Sugar Fitness YouTube class.
Oh,
Holy
nice.
moly, you kicked my butt.
Which
Yeah.
was it, a bar boot camp? Which one was it? Do you know?
No, it was the total I
I don't
took
say it.
yeah, it was the total body.
There's a lot
Total
on there. That's
body.
good. I'm glad.
It's
I'm
the
glad
one
it's
that you sent me with, like Total Body Sculpt. Is that right? Something like
okay. I'm
it
sure.
was.
We've done so many. That's so fun.
It was
Yeah.
so fun.
Huge
Good.
fan.
I'm so
So
oh, baby.
I don't know your backstory. Like, I've taken your YouTube videos. I know the app. So share your backstory. I want to hear kind of from you how this all began.
Like always loves to take the story because he's like, I go on a lot, so I'll keep it brief. But short version, I think like most women through high school and college, and even younger than that, probably dealt with a lot of like body image issues and insecurities and self-confidence lacking. And I graduated from college and was like pretty much lost in my life as far as like what I wanted to do, where I was at, where I was going, and then also just physically was extremely unhealthy at that point from habits that I had like created during that time, and 45 pounds heavier than I am now. And I think like the combination of the like mental, emotional, and physical like slump that I was in really helped propel me to this point where I was like so tired of feeling like crap. I also have had hypothyroidism since I was 11. So that was true physical ailments that also went along with that. But I just felt like garbage, like inside and out, like not feeling good about myself and what I was doing. So I started like making a commitment to myself to just move my body for 10 minutes a day. Like I had gone through every fad diet you could imagine, like through high school and college. And, always felt like I failed over and over at these diets. And looking back, I realized like, no, like the diets failed me. Like they are not in any way something that are sustainable or meant to be a lifestyle. And so I really wanted to like rewrite what healthy looked like and figure out what that looked like for me. So I moved my body for 10 minutes every day, and that's kind of where it started. And then started being just more aware of what I was eating and what I was putting into my body, but like made a promise to not restrict myself. I wasn't going to like give up a glass of wine when I wanted one or never eat out again. But it was just really about like making better choices and realizing that as I did those things, I felt better. Like every day I started feeling a little bit better. And I think like being able to commit to something like that boosts your confidence and boost your self-esteem. Like before your body changes, like it all has to change on the inside. So that's where like my transformation started. And then I just fell in love with the feeling that came from taking care of myself. And I wanted to share that with other women. And I think that I had felt for so long like I was never going to be fit. I would never be healthy. Like none of those things like were for me. That just wasn't going to be my life. And when I realized that it could be, I really wanted to help inspire other women to figure out what healthy looked like for them. And so I started teaching classes and then became a certified personal trainer. And then Instagram started really as I was teaching those classes. That was the first platform we were on in 2014. So still like early, but not like the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And it really was stemmed out of like all these women that were taking my classes were texting me constantly and asking for like recipes or like different ideas or advice. And I was like, I loved it, but it was getting a lot texting with all these different people. So I was like, oh, well, there's this like cool platform. I can just like throw up like tips and, like this when like you would type out different like these word quotes that just look like so crappy looking back at them now. But so that's truly where it started. And I, after going through this whole lifestyle makeover, really my body physically had transformed so much. So I showed those photos because I literally had my mom take a picture of me in a sports bra and underwear, like at my heaviest, like just my body, because that was for me. This was like before anyone was ever going to share them. It was on a real camera. Like
Yeah.
it was just,
Back in the
I
day.
wanted it back in the
Yeah.
day. I just wanted that. That was 2010. I wanted it for myself just to like really always look back and know like I never wanted to feel like that person anymore. So I never planned on sharing them, but it was great I had them now that I came down to this point in my
Yeah.
life. So they started getting shared and just like the momentum kind of built from there. And I saw such a need for a community so much larger than my local community.
Yeah.
And that's where it was born.
I
That's the
love
short
it.
version.
You're so relatable. Like
Yeah.
I think that's kind of why like I gravitate. There's so many people out there, myself included. I have Hashimoto's. And
Okay.
so I feel like there's so many people who are just kind of like, I don't feel like I'm at the right weight. Like maybe I don't look really overweight, but like I don't know how to get there. I've been trying to work out. And so again, it's like there's so many people out there and you're so relatable. So I don't know. I think it's what you've created is so important because it is so daunting when you're like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm at a point and I don't even know what to do anymore. Like I've tried everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I love
Yeah.
that you're just like, get moving, like 10 minutes a day, get moving. And that's like where to start. And that's
Yeah.
perfect. Like,
Thank you.
I obviously love the workout side, but I really love that you have built such an amazing business. I mean, at the core of this, you've built an amazing business. Do you feel like as you were starting back in 2014, like, did you have a lot of people kind of being like, what are you doing? Like, you're starting an Instagram business? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, for people that are wanting to
Yeah.
start businesses, kind of, how did you push through the doubt that you got from people? Like, what would be your advice for someone that's trying to do the kind of
Yeah.
maybe not a fitness, but do start a business?
Yeah. I think, for me, when I started, I in no way thought I was ever going to have a business or that that was even a thing. Like that never crossed my mind. Like community is something that I lacked during my own transformation. Like when I was going through those hardest moments, like I didn't have other people really to support me, to lean on, to share my experiences with. So I was really excited just to create that community. And even at that time, it wasn't even about a business, but so many even close friends were like, what are you doing? Like, this is so weird. Like, why are you sharing all this on like with other people? And I wasn't even a big social media person, like personally. So it really was only like out of this desire to like connect with these other women that I started using it. So everyone was like, what is going on? Like, it's so bizarre. So that I think I had to kind of get through. And then, the business part, it's so interesting. It didn't really like start probably until closer to like 2016, 17, where I realized like free content has always been a huge part of our business. And it still is, and it always will be. Because to me, I want to make sure that health and nutrition is really accessible to anyone, no matter like where they're at in life, financially or otherwise. And so that's like the core of it. And I think that that's really important for anyone building any type of business is like really having something of value that you can offer people. Because if you were to walk up to someone on the street, I don't care if you're going to give them a great workout program or like the best like handbag that they've ever seen, if they don't know you, like they're probably not going to purchase like in that
Right.
moment, right? Or buy into your business or support what you're doing. So you need to have something that's going to really allow them to get to know you, build trust, and understand like what you're about. And then great, if you like have something more to offer, then those people who really do want to invest in themselves or invest in you or anything else have an opportunity to do that. So that's where, from the beginning, we did free challenges. We still do free challenges. Now we have our free daily 10, which is a 10-minute workout that's in the app for free. Anyone can download in iTunes and Google Play. Like that's like the entry point, which is like both for, people who aren't ready to invest in themselves, they're not ready to invest in you, but also just to allow people to have really great content to interact with and use.
yeah, that's something you do. I'm glad you talked about it because you guys provide a lot of free content and a lot of workout apps and groups don't. And so I think that's another special thing and why I found you is because am like a huge YouTube fitness person. Like,
Yeah. Awesome.
yeah. So there's something so special. And once you get hooked on someone on YouTube, you're gonna go and find them on Instagram. You're gonna go find their website.
Yeah.
So to me, you've really like you want to connect almost with the person, and that's what you've done, because that's what you did for me. So
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, that really has been like the heart of it from the beginning. And so it's important, for me to always have that be the number one priority. And the business part is a blessing. And the fact that there are people who, want to invest more in themselves is great, because they allow that free content to still exist for everyone else who can't or isn't ready to. So it's really, I mean, that's where the community even like becomes this whole different part of it, where you see like, wow, like you're all like supporting each other in this too, which is cool.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Your company has a lot of moving pieces, I'm sure. There's like a lot of stuff going on. So how do you how do you balance it all?
Oh my gosh. That's such a good question. I write a lot of things down. That's like my number one, is just like really having to learn how to like prioritize and time block and write things down. But more than that, I have an incredible team that we've grown over the last couple years that is the best thing that ever happened. And I think, a lot of entrepreneurs, especially in the beginning, have a hard time letting go of things, because you learn how to control it all, and you like figure out how to balance it all. And to be honest, like you just got to figure it out. Like, I wish there was a magic way I could say like, this is how you balance it. Like, if you're passionate about it and if it's important to you, you will find time for it. And that's just the truth. But yeah, like over time, it's been so nice to be able to start, having other people on the team to support what I'm doing and what we're doing collectively to support the community. So really being able to let go, I think, was one of the biggest learnings that I've had. And obviously I don't totally let go. I oversee everything, but to like ask for help and have that support is really, really powerful.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think one thing I love about Love Sweat Fitness in general is the community that you're creating. And you've talked about it before, and how strong your community is with each other and interacting. You have a big female base. Have you always had strong friendships? Has that been a part of your life forever?
Yeah, I think that I've always been like a girl's girl for sure, but I have like a small handful of like really close friends. I definitely have like, like the groups and stuff, but I think there's like a few core friends that I've had since like kindergarten that for me, like those relationships are so important. And I feel like from the beginning, like I knew like I wasn't out there to like help men. Men need like support. And I really like wanted to like get to the heart of it with other women and like have that community. So yes, I have always had those friendships, but I think that when it really came to like being open about my struggles with confidence and body image and everything else, like I never had really, I don't think those people in my life to really support me through that journey. And even some of those closest friendships, like we're all good now, but it was like really bumpy in the beginning. I think like people don't like change. They know who you are and like they perceive you in a certain way and create a certain narrative of like how your relationship works. And I think people get uncomfortable when you start making changes, whether or not you're someone who pushes that. Like that's not my personality at all. It was really just like, no, I don't want fries. I'm good. Like, and then like everyone's like, what? Like, why? And I think sometimes people think they're being supportive by being like, you're fine. Like you look great. And it's not. And so for me, it was really like so important to be able to bring women together who get that and like who just want people to like accept them where they're at and who they are and be able to be vulnerable and open about everything, the good and like, well, the bad, I should say the bad and the good. Like I want to have a community where like you can celebrate each other for like small wins and big ones and not feel insecure about being like, I look awesome today. Like, I think, that's something we miss so much, like growing up, at least for me, like you weren't supposed to like talk that way about yourself. And I like, I want women to feel okay doing that.
Right.
So.
Well, you hit an interesting point of once you dive into wanting to change your body, because by the way, I've experienced this, you do kind of have experiences with maybe some of your best friends where they do kind of throw hate at you a little bit, and it's like, really, like you're not gonna eat that, or it's definitely a different dynamic sometimes. So
Yes. Yeah.
when you change like your whole body. So sometimes I think these big moments of changing in your life, I don't know, they can bring out all interesting aspects.
They really do. Yeah. And, I think that's where you see like, it's the communication and like how things develop. And there's I truly like lost some friendships through that process because I think there's a lot of other stuff going on that just kind of gets brought to the surface. But then the ones that are like your heart and family, like you pull through. And so it is very interesting. I think that like a lot of that, especially in my younger years, is what caused me to constantly slip back into like those bad cycles and bad habits versus like really just like continuing on what I knew was best for me. But we made it through.
You did. When did you like kind of start to see your community form? Like when did you get that goosebump moment where you're like, oh my gosh, like it's here?
Yeah, I think one of the first, I mean, there's probably a lot of little moments, but I think the first one that was really like, oh wow. There's two kind of, and they like happened around the same time, and I don't know exactly what it was that fostered this or created this, but one of the first ones was when I started seeing people in the community using a hashtag that I never like I would like use hashtag Love Sweat Fitness because that just made sense. But within the community, girls started creating hashtag Team LSF. And I think when I started seeing that, I was like, oh, like this is interesting. Like that's cool. Like what a fun name. And now it's like our most used hashtag ever. And now I speak to it and I'll be like, yeah, hashtag Team LSF. But that was something that was born from the community. And I think that was such a cool thing to be like, oh my gosh, like you guys feel like you're a community and a team.
Yeah.
Like it's one thing for me to feel that because I'm like interacting with you all individually in a way. But for now, like now I see you guys are in it together and that's really cool.
That's super cool.
Yeah. And then also when girls started like creating Instagram accounts with LSF in it, like that was so rad. Yeah.
Wow.
So again, that's another thing that now we encourage girls to do because we started seeing people saying like, oh, like I don't want to share these things like on my main Instagram because of things we just talked about. Like I don't want my friends to judge me. I don't want this or that. And so we're like, cool, like you can create this like safe space that's just within the community and it's a private account and people can find you within the community. But yeah, that was another one where I was like, oh my gosh, like this is so cool. Like people like love being a part of this and that's really exciting.
Special.
That's really cool. Can you share with our listeners who might not know like the types of workouts that you do, what would be the difference between what you're doing and then something like CrossFit or something like a Pure Barre or kind of like what would you say is the difference there?
Yeah. Well, I'll start just by kind of explaining mine and then we can talk about other things. But so I do really like functional fitness. So functional fitness and functional training is really the foundation of what I do. And that's the idea of like doing movements and things that like are functional. So for example, like a squat, you get in and out of a chair all day long. So squats are a very like functional move, or like overhead presses, like you're reaching, pulling them down. That's very foundation, like training lingo way of what I do. But I personally do like a 3-to-1 method. So most of my workouts in the app especially are going to be like 3 more strength focused moves with 1 more cardio based exercise so that you're constantly building both strength, endurance, and then burning fat with some of those cardio moves that are higher intensity in there. I just really, really from the beginning have always wanted people to be able to work out no matter where they are, like sweat anywhere. Like that is my goal. So like with or without equipment, like minimal equipment, if anything. And if you have enough space for your body, you're good to go. Like, and that to me is just the most practical. We're busy. We don't really necessarily have time or want to go to hour-long classes or drive to a gym or, all of that. Like that's fun sometimes and it can be great, but I think it's really challenging for the majority of women, especially. Me compared to like a CrossFit. CrossFit is kind of the opposite of functional fitness.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
You don't need to throw 200 pounds like overhead or like flip your body. Like just
Totally
like pull
different.
a tire down the road or a bus or whatever they do. Like very, very different. But I did actually start the first class I ever taught before I became a personal trainer was a bar class. And I'm not a dancer, but I got certified to teach bar. And to be honest, like I was so bored. I was bored out of my mind. I just like, it just wasn't in me. I don't know. Like I just like more high energy. So I created Bar Boot Camp, which is like some of the bar aspects, but then with a lot more of that like strength and cardio intertwined into it to make it more fun and effective.
Definitely. That's what I look for. Like I need like the music going, and then I need someone being like, "You got it, girl." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm doing squats."
Yes, I do. Yeah. Totally.
Your workout has totally changed functional fitness. I had never heard that term until literally you just said that.
Okay.
But it's totally changed my life because I used to do Pure Barre.
Okay.
And then I got married, moved farther away from my studio and had a kid. And you're right, it's not easy to be like, okay, husband, take the baby. I'm going to go away for 2 hours to get a workout that is kind of boring.
Yeah.
And so like your idea of just like moving your body, like I'm able to do 20-minute workouts in my living room.
Yeah, I love that. And
functional, you know?
yes, totally. And that's the biggest thing for me. Like, besides the fact, like, we don't have time, like, I just don't want to spend an hour. Like, right now, I'm training for a half marathon, which, like, is so outside my comfort zone. And the biggest thing beyond the running, like, itself is just the time, like, the time to run those miles. I'm like, it's so hard to find. So I'm all about, like, 30 minutes or less. Make it as effective as you possibly can, like get it done and move on with your day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I try to do in my workouts. I make them fun.
You do. And I definitely saw on Instagram that you were training and you said you did 8 miles. And I was like, barf. Like, good for you. Because
I just want to put it out there. Like, this is not like one of those things where I'm like, I'm going to run it and I'm going to feel like so amazing. And like this, like, no, like this is straight up just, we decided as a whole, my whole team is doing it. It's the Rock and Roll Las Vegas half. And we're just like, you know what? Like, we're going to do it because none of us want to. And so, like,
good for you.
Good for you.
Yeah. So what advice, like if someone's starting their fitness journey, where do you think on LSF, like the app, where should they start? Or where's a good place? Maybe they don't have the app.
Yeah. Okay. So like YouTube is great. Of course, like you mentioned, I think YouTube is really awesome, but even better than that, I would say we have a newsletter that goes out. Like I send lots of emails and fun stuff, but every week, every Sunday, I send out a weekly workout schedule that's totally free. And it's great because it'll direct you, it like gives you a schedule for the week of like, here's what to do. And it'll direct you to the daily 10 that is in the app, like all of those moves that are totally free. So you can download the app for free. But if you don't have the app or you don't want to get an app or whatever, even though it's free for that, but like if you don't want to have another app on your phone, I also give you a YouTube video option. So I would say the weekly workout schedule is the best place to start because you have those options, but it's laid out for you. So you're not just kind of like pulling up on YouTube and being like, I don't know what to do.
Right.
So that's a great place for anyone that's like just wanting to like start dipping their toe in fitness.
So what piece of advice do you have for someone just generally starting fitness? Like if they're like you, where they're like, I want to move for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
What would you tell?
I mean, that is my advice, I guess. Like I would start there. You know, I think the reason that for so many years, nutrition aside, like obviously nutrition is really important, but if you're focusing just on like exercise, I think for so many years, the reason I failed over and over with like consistently working out was because I would go so hard. I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm out of shape. Like I need to like do a 3-mile run and kickboxing every day. You know, like I would just like go turbo for 2 weeks and then get completely burnt out and not work out for another 2 months. So for me, it's really important to like it's not about like setting your expectations low for yourself at all, but it's really like creating those healthy habits. So starting small with something that's really obtainable and measurable and that you can celebrate. And I think those moments of celebration along the way are what allow you to stay motivated to keep moving forward and keep progressing. But starting with like 10 minutes a day. And like when you accomplish that after a week, like maybe take it up to 15 and see like how you do and just start like building from there. And that's being a lifestyle versus like burnout mode and never doing it again.
Right. Yeah. I think it's very easy to get caught up in this Instagram world of like you see so many different fitness things out there, and I honestly think so many people, when they're just wanting to put their toe in the water and get started, they do go to the extreme. Like,
Yeah.
as someone who is an extremist when it comes to workouts, I've had to learn what you're talking about of like, you know what? Sometimes a 20-minute workout does more than 2 hours.
Right.
It's how you're doing it. You know, are you doing the moves all the way and efficiently,
Mm-hmm.
and are you thinking about your diet? There's so many things. So again, it's almost like your program to me is not scary. It's not scary, and I know it's not going to like hurt my body in a sense, cuz it's just
Thank
like,
you.
yeah, it's like an
Yeah.
easy way to train. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I love
Thanks.
that.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like, it really helps. Obviously, like I've been on the other side of it. I was not someone who grew up playing sports and was super athletic. And, like it's very different. So I think that I have like more of an understanding of kind of that whole like
Mm-hmm.
phase and what it looks like from being really unfit and unhealthy to being where I'm at now, and all along the way. So yeah, I do really like strive to make it obviously really safe, but make them like effective and approachable. And I think I do like make them sneaky hard. So like I think like as you progress, especially like I feel like that's like a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, like I watched this YouTube, like they'll watch it first, like watch the YouTube video, or I saw like this thing on Instagram and it looks so easy and I did it and like almost died. And I'm like, not really almost died, but like your butt is like, yeah. And I think that like to me, like makes me so happy because it's like what you did it, right? So like we made it so that you were able to push through, you were able to do it at whatever fitness level, but you were still feeling really accomplished afterwards. And like you pushed yourself a little bit harder and can go a little further next time.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
If you could tell your 19-year-old self one thing, what would you tell her?
Oh, snap. Oh, wow. That's such a great question. You know, I think that like there's so many different things I would like to tell her, but if there was one that I feel like could like sum up all, because to me it really starts at like your heart and your mind before you can ever like take steps to make real change. Was that like you're perfect just as you are. And I think that like being able to like truly believe that is when I got to that point is what really helped allow me to take steps to be like, I am, but I know I'm doing these things that aren't taking care of this perfect self, and I need to like do better and take better care of it. But it wasn't about trying to change who I was or trying to like fix like problems that I had or like be in a certain size or anything else. And so I think really that like self-love and acceptance is so important before you can make any changes, whether it's career or like nutrition or weight loss or anything else. Like it really has to start there. So I think that'd be like the core of what I would have loved to have learned at 19.
Yeah. I think that would be mine too.
Same. I
So
think we
many
all
of
could have had a little bit more self-love at 19.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Who has been throughout this whole process of maybe just even at the beginning, like getting into fitness and or starting your whole business?
Yeah.
Who's been your biggest inspiration?
Oh, I think like my biggest inspiration, I think would be like the women in my community, because to me, like every single day from the very beginning, like that is why, like maybe like, for myself, obviously I had to inspire myself to like make those changes, but in wanting to teach and wanting to share and like creating this community and now this business as part of it, like it's them, like they're the reason. And every email that I get and every DM that I get with a woman like struggling with some of the things we've talked about today, like that to me is so inspiring. And that's what allows me to like continue to want to do more and do better and provide more for them, because I know that feeling. Like it's hard, like it's really hard at those different stages. And I think no matter how far we progress, we still have struggles and we still have moments. And, to me, that is like the reason I do what I do every single day. And then it's like that, I think like motivation and inspiration has really been my husband, who's also my business partner. We met when I was at my heaviest, but I had like kind of started to make some changes in my life. And he was by no means like super healthy or anything else, but was like so on board and so supportive. And I think he really like allowed me to feel that like sense of love and like being like really comfortable with who I was, that inspired that growth to be able to do all of these things. So yeah.
Wow.
Gotta love those good hugs.
Person.
I
Yeah, it's a good
know.
hubby.
It's so funny. I look back because I'm probably 10 pounds, maybe 15 pounds lighter than when I met my husband. And, every day we still are like, I'm talking about weight due to other issues like fertility, but he's like, you were beautiful when when I met you and you were still like, when you were heavier, like he would love me like that way. And sometimes I say that, like, I just think to myself, I'm like,
Right.
how can he, like, why can you not have that self-love and be okay with at that point too? Even though it's exactly what you're talking about. Like, I didn't feel like I was fully healthy, but still there's just that moment to have that good guy or whoever your partner is. There's something about it. You just need that
Nice.
person that's going to love you at that heaviest moment of your life.
It's so
Absolutely
true.
powerful.
Okay, so one of our most favorite things on TGL is we have a segment called Yay and Nay with Wit and Kay, and it's where we talk about something we're loving and something we're not loving. So,
Yeah.
what is your yay and what is your nay?
Okay, so something I'm loving that I've been loving for like I guess a year, that I just will love forever, and I pray that it does not ever go away, is a high-waisted legging, because like it is the best thing that ever happened. Like any shape or size, I think women of all sizes can agree that like you just feel a little bit more confident. You throw on a high-waisted like any day of the week, and I just feel like it makes like, I don't know, it just makes such a difference compared to low-waisted pants. And it's just like such a great like supporter physically, but also just allows, I think, that continued of like self-love and body positivity, and takes away some of that like self-consciousness of being an athletic wear, that I'm sure like most women have faced or felt at different times. And they just look cute. So
Agreed.
That is a
love
great
high
yay.
waist.
Whoever invented low-waisted things needs to like bye-bye.
Go.
Yeah, low-waisted and like I'm really over cropped. So like yeah, those two can they can stay away.
What is your nay?
Oh, this is such a hard one. I think like when I'm thinking of just like in general and like fitness trends and different things, I think my biggest nay is just all of the people that like to slap like diet phrases on things and call them healthy. And I think right now it's like worse than ever with like keto diet and I guess mostly keto. But like, and it really, I think causes a lot of confusion in the industry. And with that, like, yeah, I would say that's probably one of my biggest ones. And then also, since we're here, I'll give you another one. But I think the phrase like coaches, which I know sounds like maybe like not that big of a deal, but as a certified personal trainer, I think lately in the fitness industry over the last year or so, there's so many people that are just like throwing around the label of like coach that have like zero training or business coaching anyone on anything, especially in the multi-level marketing scene. Just saying, but it's kind of like offensive as someone who like studies constantly, and as personal trainers we have to keep that up. So every 2 years we have to take a certain amount of courses that it's a lot of work. So yeah, that's one of my pet peeves.
So you're telling me that I can't just become a fitness coach today?
Not today.
Deal.
With some time and dedication, you actually.
It's such a pet peeve of mine too, like being in the healthcare industry. I'm like, wait, do you have any like, there's credentials, like, I mean, there's a lot of studying and work that goes into it. Like, you can't just throw that around. So I'm with you.
And I feel like it's so dangerous, like beyond like just like personally being annoyed by it, because I'm like, I roll, you're not a coach, but like coach. But it's dangerous. Like you then are giving people advice. You're potentially training people in gyms. Like it's not okay. And so I feel like more and more over the last year, especially, I've just like heard that being thrown around so much, and it's nay, big nay,
big nay. I am glad I'm in an industry that people can't just like slap a thing on. I'm an attorney, so people don't usually slap it on, but I feel like in both of your industries, like medicine and fitness,
Yeah,
absolutely. You see it
anyone can
everywhere.
write about anything now, and and healthcare wise, and I'm just like, what? Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah. But you're an expert because you said you were.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're best friends, as you know. And so this is all about friendship, and it's all about like girls supporting girls. So we love asking, what is the best piece of advice you've ever received from your best friend?
Ooh, I love it. And I love that you guys are best friends. That's so cute. It's great. The best piece of advice I ever received from a friend, I think, was choose joy. And it's funny because I got it from my mom all growing up, and I like thought it was just a mom thing. I think that one of my kindergarten friends that I talked to you about when I was going through before I like really started my journey, when I was just like I got dumped after dating a boy for like 7 years that I definitely thought I was like going to spend my life with. Thank God I'm not. But like had been dumped, was overweight, like all of these things. And I don't know if she had like heard it from my mom at some point, but I was like full meltdown mode. And she like just stopped me and was like, choose joy. And I was like, what? Like, what are you talking about? And I think it's really one of those things, like in all of life circumstances and like whatever's going on, you have a choice, and you really do like have an opportunity to like flip the script and change how you're looking at things. And that doesn't mean like all of a sudden, like you're going to be like, this is the best day ever when you like get fired from a job or broken up with. But I think it's really about like constantly focusing on the good in every moment rather than letting like the negative consume you.
Yes.
And so I try to keep that. I have signs in my house that say it now, and I like try to keep it with me always because I think it's like the most simple thing ever, but super powerful.
Definitely. I really love that.
Perspective is everything.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, thank you for being with us. You have just inspired me to go work out, and all of our listeners I know, and you've just been such a joy, and you've given us a lot of great perspective, and you've just been wonderful to have. So we really appreciate you coming on today.
Yeah. Where can everyone? Sorry, I cut you off.
Sorry.
I know. I'm like, Kristen, girl, you're not letting her promote herself.
Sorry. Yeah. We want all of our listeners to stalk you. So tell us everything where they can find you.
Amazing. So really Love Sweat Fitness everywhere. So on YouTube, Love Sweat Fitness, Instagram at Love Sweat Fitness. The website is lovesweatfitness.com. And you can download the app, which is Love Sweat Fitness, the app, in Google Play or iTunes Store. You can download it for free, and you can also get a 7-day free trial. So you can get the free like daily 10 anytime when you download. But if you want to check out the premium, which is like basically like having me as a personal trainer for you with motivation and trophies and tracking and like self-care and journaling, there's so much fun stuff in there. Then you can check that out too.
So guys, if you didn't hear that, it's Love Sweat Fitness.
Yes.
I love that it's all across the board because it's so wonderful that it's the same everywhere because it's so easy to find you
it's nice. The only one that's not is like Twitter, but like do people use Twitter anymore? I don't know. Because you can only have 16 characters, so it's Love Sweat and Fit. So if you're listening and you're big on Twitter, Love Sweat and Fit.
Deal. And we'll put it all on our website so you guys can find her. So yes, thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you both. I had so much fun chatting with you.
Hey guys, it's your girls, Whitney and Kristen from This Girl Life podcast. We need you to send us a little something for Halloween. We are planning an amazing Halloween episode and we need your help.
We want to hear your scariest stories, your most paranormal experiences, or basically anything related to Halloween.
Right. It doesn't necessarily have to have happened to you. Maybe it happened to your mom. I don't care. I just want to be scared shitless. So send us your stories and we're going to air them on a bonus Halloween episode.
And if your story gets shared, we're sending you a gift. So
might as well send us something good.
Yeah. So DM Whitney, DM me, or DM TGL Podcast.
With your stories.
Your scariest story.